I've always said every good adventure starts in a tavern. This one starts on your phone or your desktop. Welcome to the very first episode of the DawnSetter Guild. It's a brand new campaign with my current crew around the table. I'm your DM, Chance LePray, and in some order or direction on screens on your device and monitor, with me is Isha, Kyle, Tyler, and Marshay. You're about to be introduced to their characters, you're about to be introduced to our campaign, my entire world setting, and the adventure they're about to go on. But before we do, you have stopped by for Session 0. We've already made our characters, and if you would like to see that, go hit up our Patreon. And if you wouldn't like to see that, go hit up our Patreon. And we'll win you over eventually. But more importantly, Session 0 is going to line up the rest of the story. So if you would like to see it, stick around. And if you wouldn't like to see it, Session 1's coming. The real session is coming your way soon. One of the more important things that you should know that we are running the new 2024 D&D core rulebooks. So I've got them all with me here. As you can see, they're the fancy versions because I support my local game store, Amazon. So Bezos, eat your heart out.
Beautiful. Yeah, Bezos.
This is a really big thing to say. Go support your local game store. They need it more than you do. And for some reason, when they go away, you'll be sad about it. So do us both a favor. Do them a favor. It's a win all the way around. Go buy the core rulebooks. You'll love them.
Here.
We are running this session on D&D Beyond, this entire campaign. So if you'd also like to learn how to set those up, we have in our Patreon. We've actually covered. We got a how-to, and we did it by the old pen and paper style as well. Should you want to feel what it's like to say, how do I step into this? How do I learn? You can check it out there. Without further ado, and any more of me ranting, I'm going to go rant some more, but this time it's going to sound a little more fluffy.
It's magic ranting.
It's magic ranting. All right. So for those of you who don't know, so running a Session 0 or a Session 0.5 is how you walk your characters into the setting itself. Most of my players have experienced this before besides our point of view player. Right there. Isha has never played D&D ever before, and she's walking in with a brand new character she built. Which would you like to introduce at least the name and what you are? In fact, we'll do that for everyone real quick before we jump in and start storytelling.
Okay.
So okay. Isha, do you want to introduce us to your character?
But I don't have any reference for how to do that. I should just
so we're just saying your name,
yep.
Like the species you're playing and the class. You're playing.
I'm Trinda Silverhair, and I'm a halfling.
Love it.
And I am a bard.
Perfect. You did it. Full mark.
She did it, you guys. She D&D'd.
That's the whole game.
Your first D&D.
All you're missing is throwing some dice, and that's it. You've done it.
Done.
Kyle?
Hi, I'm Kyle. I am going to be playing Xeris, and I am a tiefling druid. So, yep. That's me.
Ty?
My guy's name is Kaz. He's a human fighter. But with a twist, maybe not. We'll see. So.
Oh, dang it. Now I know there's a twist.
The foreshadowing. Marshay?
My name is Marshay, and I will be playing Moira, and she's an Aasimar barbarian. Yes.
She's the awesomest.
Awesome, and then the letter R.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome.
That actually will be very helpful for me because I had already been like, it's gone.
That's why I said
it's
it.
Done.
And should you feel any debate of how these are said, it says in the book. You get the parentheses.
The phonetic.
We can't have tieflings anymore.
No more tieflings. They're dead.
Tiefling.
Never had them. Never believed in them.
Okay, well, I guess they aren't in these yet. Three Kreen or Thry-Kreen.
They're not there yet.
We'll have to wait. We'll have to find out.
We'll have to wait and find out. If you got an opinion, I would love to hear you stand on your molehill in the comments.
Yes.
We're going to research.
We're going to see. It's going to happen.
We're going to speculate.
And let's see. You know what? I don't get to roll dice very often.
I was about to say he's going to roll.
I am going to roll.
The first roll of the session.
I was going to say, the first roll of the campaign, technically.
Technically.
I'm spooked.
I'm spooked. I don't know why or how.
Good.
Just generally afraid.
The sunlit hill of the beautiful landscape that the country of Sirius always offered. Rawless was a quaint town. It was a nice little trade town, and the hills always smelled of a beautiful lavender. That was a trademark for this entire town. They had beautiful purple landscapes, and it was only the blooming lavender because there was a temple there, that was a monastery temple that dedicated itself to Solara, the goddess of the sun. And in this temple, a small girl was dropped off once upon a time. It's pretty traditional for monasteries and temples to get random baskets of orphans. Sometimes they're traded like bouquets, but in this time it was just
Who wants it?
sometimes it's Valentine's Day. Here, have an orphan.
Chocolates and orphans.
Picked it just for you. But this time that was not the case. Instead, it was just a bundle of joy with a mother who thought her daughter was destined for greatness because she had marks of celestial beings all over her body. Worried that she was hanging on to some holy icon, she left her at a temple, and a priest of the order, Father Regir, simply looked down, left a sigh, because it's probably not the first time he's seen an Aasimar dropped at his doorstep. But this one is a little different, and he could tell why. And he could probably understand why things were a little strange. At the time he found this young orphan, or was dropped off at his doorstep, he had a little bit of peppering going on, but he had dark black suede hair. He had really sharp features on his face, but for the rest of him, he was a really soft man. Looks like the kind of guy you'd want to give a hug to, and you'd really appreciate it. He got that kind of muscle that's underneath. I eat a lot of bread. Like
Real dad bod type.
Real dad bod type.
Okay, sweet.
But underneath his fineries, you can't really tell. All you see is kind of a welcoming person, but at the same time, someone who knows his job really well. And over the years, he raised Moira as if she was his own daughter, because he understood that this girl was left with him at not a young enough age and not an old enough age to understand why she was left there. But to be left with that question probably for a large part of her life. He aged throughout the years pretty quickly, quicker than most should. Eventually taking on an illness that he couldn't really fight. And his faith led him to the end. And Moira was always there was something inside of her that he saw from the very beginning. She was her father's savage daughter. And he knew it. And the temple life was never going to be for her, ever. And so he did his best to raise her in a way that he knew he wasn't lying to himself. Like, he wasn't looking at a legacy here. He was raising a woman, or he was hoping to raise a woman that had the opportunity to do something great that she deserved to do. Because greatness in his eyes wasn't sweeping the temple floor, even though that was his own greatness. The greatest he could do was serve Solara to the end of his days. But that was not the greatest for her. Whether he was wrong or not, that's entirely up to how this goes. But on his deathbed, he said his goodbyes. He said his deep love. He made sure you knew that you were the daughter he always wanted. And with his last moments, he was always good at leaving a few surprises. With his last moments, he gave you a thank you, and he laid back, and then his priesthood that came to see him off followed the rites of Solara and buried him on the highest mountain they could, the closest to the sun. Unfortunately, you were not allowed to go on that pilgrimage to bury him.
Because the priesthood, and she was a priest?
She wasn't one of the cloth. So not necessarily that she had to be a male or anything, but she had not dedicated herself to this path, right? But there was still a ceremony for anyone who loved him, like the townsfolk, the city, the people in town loved him. He was like I said, he was the one you want to give a hug to, and you really want it. And you understood this for the most part, but there was a part of you that always said, I never got to see him off. Because that's the study you knew. As a couple weeks roll on and you were continuing to fulfill your duties to the town by running errands, by helping build shops, by doing your best to stay distracted, and also taking care of the temple in his stead. A large Goliath shows up one day, and he was the town blacksmith. One of them. There were two in the town, and they were brothers, and he rolls up. He was a giant of a man. I mean, as Goliaths typically are, but this was a Goliath who used his hands for a living, so this man was tempered. And he had a large box with him, and he laid it down, and he raps on the door. He raps on the door, bangs it as hard as he can, he yells inside, "Moira!
Come
It's
in.
Gaunt!"
Oh, come in. One moment.
And he just keeps banging.
Okay.
He's not a patient man.
Finish up whatever she's doing and head to the door.
As you crack open, he's about to bang again. He sees you up. Oh, it's good, Moira. It's good to see you.
I
I have something for you. And he drops it. Just drops it on the ground. You want me to set it anywhere?
Are you sure? I didn't order anything.
It's not from you. It's from Rhaegar. It's for you though.
What,
Here, and he pulls out of his satchel, a pocket that's attached to his blacksmith apron. Pulls it out and hands it to you. He said to give this to you when I dropped it off, but this is yours, and unfortunately I have to go. Would you like me to set it inside?
yes.
Great. And he just leans over, picks the whole thing up, and walks on inside and sets it on a table. Is this okay? It's basically behind a pew, right? One random table behind a pew. Sure. And he, like I said, he's not a patient guy, but he's not mean about it. He's just
Doing his job.
doing right. Crossing off his list. Drop off box. Next. Does this work?
Yep.
Okay. Farewell.
Have a nice day.
You want me to close this? And he just closes it anyways.
That'd be great.
A temple of Solara always has beautiful stained glass ceilings. But they're never colors that are going to distort the sun, and they only enhance it. So they have bright ambers, some soft blues. They use some some lighter red tones. Anything that is going to dance the colors across the floor, because celebrating the sun is what this temple does, and it's what the Order of Solara is always dedicated to doing. And the smells of the temple are something that you're incredibly familiar to, but for some reason today they were so poignant. It was the slight smell of stony dust. It was the cold stone against your feet. And even though you had shoes on, it's that kind of chill that just kind of radiates through. The walls themselves caked in plaster, but it's even though they're hidden behind paint. And that plaster smell, which has kind of an age to it. So there's this somewhat of an old musk to the temple, even though the stained glass keeps it beautiful. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't the most fancy temple in the world. And there's a grand temple in some of the larger cities to Solara that are just immaculate. They're incredible. This is not one of them. It's practically it's practically a local church on a hill. Mm-hmm. And here it is, this oak box sitting in front of you that has a small, simple tied latch and a letter sitting on top that has it's got a wax stamp with his seal on it. Just the Solaran symbol and an R.
Mm-hmm. She's super confused, probably tracing her hands along the box as she pulls the letter off. Mm-hmm. And it's this weird moment of like she's so intrigued but also anxious about it.
Do you open the box or open the letter first?
I think she'll lean against the table and pop the letter open.
You pop the letter open and you pull out the fold, right? And it's softly folded, not hard creasing. As you unveil it, it's a handwritten letter from Rhaegar. And it says, "Dear Moira." Hang on.
Attaboy.
Yep.
Attaboy.
Yeah. "Dear Moira, my last words are always harder to write than I ever thought they'd be. I guess my first is to say I love you and thank you for giving my life more purpose than I ever thought it could. And I do owe you an apology for finding the sun faster than I expected. My fellow brothers in the cloth and my sisters in the cloth couldn't do much to help me but help my ailments. Sometimes disease just gets the best of you. And I never wanted you to stay, because you didn't want to stay. And I know it might not be what you want to hear, and these halls were your home, and this town has been your home, but none of this needs to be your final place. This is not your greatest journey. out there in the bold sea in the grand world. Go smell the air of a different country. Go taste the finest foods amongst the stars. And more importantly, go find a place that you want to call home. This will always be a home for you. It doesn't have to be a home you chose. Because I don't think you found it yet. You've been working for a long time, making a few coins here and there to keep the temple up and running. And frankly, without you, I don't think we ever would have been able to put that column back into place. Let it not be said that the Solarian cloth doesn't know how to have a good night. But I will never forget that Brother Brigatoni knocked that pillar down. Thank you for putting it back in place. Your strength was a marvel amongst us all. And I believe your strength isn't what set you apart, nor does it define you, but I believe it's something you've been blessed with. Whether it be from Solara or one of her many, many brothers and sisters. And I know I'm ranting a little bit because, like I said, your last words are hard to put onto paper. And at the end, this is a gift for you, and I love you. Brother Connor Rieger.
I think she's probably like very much crying, silent sobs.
Mm-hmm.
And she holds the letter close to her chest and then just takes a moment to breathe and probably looks at the sun streaming through the window and feeling maybe that he's here with her.
Yeah.
And then she will lean over and I'll pop the box open.
And like I said, it's a tied latch, so you untie the figure eight, the figure eight in place on the two notches, and you untie it. You feel the hinge pop a little bit, and as you lift it open, something's wrapped. It's heavy canvas wrapping, and so you slowly unwrap it and unravel it, and laying inside is a beautiful great axe, a double-sided battle axe. In the center is the sun. But on the sides are blooming rays out to the blades. The hilt it's not made of metal, it's still a wooden hilt, but it's a mahogany hilt down to a black leather grip down in the middle and down at the base. And it's inscribed right underneath the where the blade attaches to the hilt, to the staff. It's inscribed, "Find your greatness."
I mean, I think just staring at it, absolutely kind of bewildered and confused because she's not really done weapons ever. Mm-hmm. It's not a life that she knows, but it's this feeling of like, I can go, I can do something different. So I think should probably take a moment and admire it and feel the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then pack a small bag, sling the axe over her shoulder, and definitely go say goodbye to some of the people that she knows. But I think she's really going to take the letter to heart of like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm doing something.
Yeah. You set out exiting the town after you've said your small goodbyes, and some of them more poignant than others, right? And they're just faces in a small town. Everyone knows everyone. Gaunt and his brother Gint, they wave goodbye for a brief second. They barely say anything. The tavern master knows you well. There's the local food market, the food merchants, the stable master, all of them wave you off as if all already knew. Everyone in this town knew you were going to leave someday. Whether it's because Raker told them or because they could all just see it.
Yeah. The religious life never quite clicked.
Wasn't going to be it. So your final steps as you head out of the town, and the curated cobblestone turns into main road rock and a road base. And Rawlis was right on the trade route between Seer and Nish. Seer and Nish are the two capital ports of this country. You head off towards Seer because that's the city you knew better than Nish. It was just the one you knew you did business with. Like, you heard tradesmen come through, you heard of boats leaving there. You have heard wind of the Empire, but you didn't know much about it.
Mm-hmm.
As you get to Sear, on the port side, with a little bit of gold in your pocket, you got to get out somewhere, right?
Yeah. Don't know where I'm going. Just walking.
As you're just walking, it's easy to note that there are some trade ships and transport, and like more of like transporting ships of people, right? Cruiser ships, like picking people up and buying passage, and they're labeled right there on the side where they're going, what their route is, like on a small board right next to the boat at the edge of the port side, so you can see where each boat is headed and if they're taking passengers or crew. And there's a couple boats taking crew and there's a couple boats taking passengers. Which one do you want? One of them is going far west. A few of them are going into the east. To the east is the imperial waters. To the west is the uncharteds.
Sunrises or sunsets? One go rises.
Okay. So you hop passage onto some of the trade ships.
Yeah.
And the cruiser ships. As you set out to sea, you pay your due. You get on board. You find your bunk. You get a little bit of a stateroom kind of thing, but you're sharing it with another person. And you set off. This person is an orc trader. They're headed to the Uzgar oligarchy. And as you set off, though, one day into the journey, even though it's only a three day ship, one day into the journey, you get stopped by Imperials. The whole boat does. And as they step on board, it's the Imperial Navy. Imperial Navy, they're denoted by large white. They have white military gear. Their captains are high-collared. They have high collars. Their lieutenants have high jackets. And their higher admiralty wear golden cords from their collarbone to a cape on their shoulder. And there's an admiral on board. Not that this hierarchy means anything to you, but you know of the Imperials. You don't know much about them, though. However, one of the sailors steps on board, and they immediately sound out and say, "Every non-Imperial citizen, step forward."
That would be me.
And a few people look at each other confused, and they step forward. You have two options: bend the knee to the Empire, or cede yourself to jail.
Bunch of cool, normal guys.
The Skyreach Dominion demands your fealty.
Skyreach Dominion. That's so
Well,
freaking
this is
cool.
not how I thought my adventure would be starting.
A few people start murmuring and clambering of like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
what? No, this can't be right. And one guy tries to stand up, and the captain pulls out a flintlock and puts one through his head.
Oh my gosh! Don't kill him! Don't kill him!
No.
And he doesn't say anything else. He just folds his flintlock back into its holster. And then the sailor says yet again, "Swear fealty to the Skyreach Dominion, or send off to the banks of G8."
Or die, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, I've already pledged allegiance to one god that I don't really care about. What's another?
Nice.
Oh yeah.
And the sailor steps over, holding his cutlass, staring you dead in the eye. Bend the knee, or head to the brig.
And the knee.
Okay. And as you go down, the captain walks over and touches your chin.
Ugh.
This is a power play that you have never felt in your life.
Straight to jail. Straight to the brig.
For instance, go for it.
Just the like doesn't know what's happening,
The
but
rage?
the immediate like building of
Yes. To kill these guys.
trying to hold back the words, "Don't touch me," but like also I've got to get off boat. So just like I'm on a hairline trigger of Just
you have any?
looks up with absolute glare.
Do you have any Solaran like accessories or regalia on?
I have a holy symbol, and technically
Where is it?
Huh?
Where is it?
It's a necklace.
Perfect. He touches your chin and runs his finger down your neck and rips the symbol off your body.
I want to kill him so bad.
What's this dude's name?
Let this guy come back.
It's a word.
We'll kill him later.
It's just a word.
He hasn't said anything.
He hasn't said anything.
He killed a dude and his officers.
Human guy?
Human guy.
Oh, he's coming back.
Can I immediately? I want to just reach out and grab that arm. Like, that's mine.
One of the sailors walks up and pulls his cutlass and holds it to the back of your neck. You let go of the captain right now. Oh my gosh. And he's just holding it.
I don't know how long I can stay in this lockout, but I'm just like... May I please have my necklace back, sir?
And he drops it. Just drops it at your knees. And he nods to the sailor, and then the sailor slams you in the back of the head.
Oh.
Does a 19 hit?
Yeah.
Take 1 million damage, I guess. Game
This
over.
is going to be non-lethal damage. 10.
Oh.
My gosh.
10 damage?
10 damage.
Holy moly.
Is there pass out?
Yeah, it's non-lethal, so he was looking to incapacitate her.
Okay.
Well, she's tough.
I got 4 HP left, baby.
So you just got your bell rung.
Yeah. So I'm gonna drop to the floor and slowly scoop my necklace back and just.
As you scoop it up, they grab you by the back of the head and lift you up, and they start dragging you to the Imperial ship.
Okay.
Jeez.
Dragging you across the planks, because they've created a bridge between both ships. Across the planks, down a layer, and they throw you into a cell.
I guess it didn't matter whether I pledged or not.
And they threw you in with your gear, and they
That's
Ask-
a mistake.
politely, "Would you please hand over your gear, miss?"
No, thank you. Respectfully.
Fine. He closes it, locks it, and he calls over 2 of the brig guards. "Keep an eye on this one. She can take a hit." And so they stand there holding spears. As the lights go out, nothing but torches are lit. The soft candle lanterns are lit inside the brig. And you feel, in a few more minutes, the ship starts to teeter out and off to you have no idea where.
I don't want to play anymore.
Yes, what are the rules? This is crazy.
Don't leave home.
Don't leave home.
I need this one, actually. The Deep Evergreen Druidic Circle is a beautiful one. One of Floriana's favorites. This has been known as the Season of the Give, and the Season of the Give is when Floriana offers a gift to her circles that worship her. And per the norm, a gigantic green goat comes sauntering its way out of a shrub. But all around you is your druidic circle. The one you've come to love, the one you've come to know. And the taste in the air around here is so fresh against the sulfuric taste and smell of the Nine Hells. It is so different in contrast that it was almost jarring as a young war refugee. The war in the Third Hell left a lot of death, and the escape left more death. And to find your home amongst the material to find a safe haven amongst the material plane is something that you probably never expected. But the archdruid of this circle took a really big liking to you once they saw you hiding away in the forest for a few months. They watched you way more than you thought. Because of the circle of the moon, every deer, every bear, every bird, every fox, every wolf, every creature all around you could have been one of them watching. And it takes a much more discerning eye to tell the difference between a wild shape and the actual thing. And that's one you don't have, at least not yet. Eventually you got welcomed into the circle, and the circle became kind of everything you wanted it to be. Like, you didn't realize life could be this simple. And it was just simple. In contrast to the third hell and the constant battle that is going on for its superiority. Yeah, sure, predators and prey is a thing, but that makes so much more sense than senseless death. Because one person says you should, right? It makes so much more sense. And it hurts to watch something else suffer. But without the suffering, the other thing would die. And that's just not the case in a land fight. People die just cuz. Baselessly. And Archdruid Shill was one of the most straightforward individuals I think you've probably ever come across. And you come from tieflings, which are not typically known to beat around the bush. But he doesn't. He is straight-faced, straight-laced. He's also used to wild shaping into a giant stag. Nice. And so that image is the first time you ever saw him. And it was the first time a druid ever showed themselves to you while you were camping in the wild. One dark night when the moon was high, a huge stag showed up, and feeling hungry, you thought, "Oh, it's a deer. I can do this." And it started approaching you with a demeanor as you lifted up the dagger that you were hanging on to and tried to approach it. It just locked eyes with you and looked so far into you that you're pretty sure it could read the inscription on the tag your mom put on your bassinet when you were born.
What a pull.
It tampered its way forward, and right in front of you, you saw its body twist and morph back into his elven form. And he's a wood elf. And slender in stature, but still lean and tall. And Shill, straight-laced and straightforward, asked you point blank, "Do you respect the ways of the forest?" It's a yes or no answer, and it shouldn't be that hard. You should try responding a little quicker next time. Let's ask again. And suddenly, as he asks again, a wolf joins the outing, and a bear shows up, and a crow shows up, and they all form back into their druidic selves. Let me ask again. There's no wrong answer to this, and nor will any harm come to you. I just simply need an answer. Do you believe in the simplicity and the beauty of nature, and the sanctity of it?
Yes. I've seen nothing like this anywhere else in my life. And
he walks up and just gives you a hug.
Okay.
Wonderful. Backs up a little bit. He's got a big smile on his face, and he holds up his flask. Says, "Have a drink."
Right. Thank you.
And they all shape, as they all continue to show up out of the woodwork and shape out, they all just sit around your camp now. Someone else comes in with some logs and makes your fire a little bigger. Someone else comes in with some leaves inside of a pot, and they start brewing up some soup. And out of nowhere, a pan flute shows up, and you were just combed into the experience so easily. Like, the second you said that, it's all they needed. You probably weren't a threat to them, but like...
Yeah.
And he goes, "Please, have a drink. Don't be so straight-faced."
Sorry, I just... For a second you were this thing, and now you're this, and I'm wondering what else might change and become something else.
And a plump halfling woman holding up a bowl of soup puts it up to your face and goes, "You should know about now. You've been here long enough. The beauty of nature is that it's so wonderfully wild yet predictable at the same time. So of course things will change and they'll ebb and flow like the wind. But for now, eat.
Right.
You look famished."
Well,
You look thinner than the bone where you had to pull the marrow out of.
bone marrow.
Just a little.
All right.
Don't worry. It was very ethically sourced.
Of course, yes.
The
yes.
poor thing was, the poor little deer was left to its own devices once a wolf had its way with it. So we use the rest. We make sure that every piece is taken care of the way it should be.
Right.
So that means eat your marrow.
Right. Yes.
Do you need more?
Right.
You look thin. I'm going to get you more. And
Okay. Right.
she palms off. And she'll then sits down on your bedroll and starts eating his own bowl himself. And goes, would you like somewhere to stay that's not quite this quaint?
Yes, if you're inviting, I didn't mind it here at all, but if you have somewhere with somewhat of a roof, I might be okay with that.
I at least have somewhere with something more of a bed.
Yes. Yes, I will take that.
Lovely. We'd welcome, friend.
Thank you.
So he didn't call you druid yet, but he called you friend.
Yes.
And as the night went on, they kind of had a little party. Like, it was just kind of a festive, right? It wasn't necessarily a big celebration, but people were happy. And happiness real far gone for you for a while now.
Yeah.
Anyone you have known or loved or even came to the surface with, or any of the memories that you remember losing inside the dungeon on the way up, all of it's rough. And you ran away from cults trying to chase you down that were here on the material plane doing bidding for their demons, for their lords. And so the forest became a haven, but little did you know when they brought you to their own druidic haven, it could be so much more than that. Living amongst creatures simultaneously and effortlessly. You haven't seen too many other druidic circles, but with this one, there were creatures living amongst them, and they lived with them in their own way. They would wild shape into a bear and live with the bear as it needed to be as it needed a companion. They would fly with the birds as the birds needed to learn how to flock. They integrated with nature itself to help nature move along by itself in the best way it could. They used their power to generously benefit the rest of the forest. And that's where Floriana's gift during the season of the gift that you were now in represented. It was it's one you hadn't seen before. You'd now seen a couple seasons of the gift come by. The first time you saw the giant goat might have freaked you out because it just shows up out of a plant.
Oh.
But with let's take cues from everybody else. No one freaked out. They got a little excited. Okay, but per the norm, Shill walks up, the archdruid, and he graciously bows, conforts to his stag form and bows deeper. And the goat keeps its head held high and drops a basket from its mouth that it's carrying, turns around, and vanishes into the leaves and the shrubs. He contorts back to himself, lifts the basket up, and everyone cheers. And inside is a little bit of gold, a little bit of silver, but more importantly, it's harvested boons. It's vegetables, it's curated fruits, it's things that you don't see in this forest, but they're being given to you by Floriana, the goddess of the land itself. And so she's sharing the bounty of the land she governs as a gift. However, this is a ritual and a practice of you pick something that means something to you out of the basket, because for everyone in the circle that is a druid, you get a gift. However, you are meant to give that gift to somebody else, for whatever reason. And you had yet to be given your druidic rights. And you didn't even know what those were. You hadn't seen anyone become a druid yet. You just kind of thought they existed.
Yeah.
Until Shill handed out all the gifts, and you were used to not getting anything because it wasn't yours. I mean, you would be given something, but nothing in the basket was for you.
Yeah.
Until Shill stopped this time and said, Xeris, this one's for you.
That's for me.
And he pulls out a shillelagh. He goes, it's not mine to give, but it's yours.
Yeah, I walk over and I reach into the basket and grab it.
And he grabs a staff that's in there for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's an oaken staff, right? It's just beautiful oaken staff. And he says, "It is the season of the gift, friend. Druid." And he holds his hand out.
I almost, give over humility in these things, but I realize that in doing that, it would be the greatest offense I could do.
Exactly.
And I just have to swallow my pride. And in this moment of like being apart, but never feeling truly like woven in with the circle here. This is the realization of that. So
He takes your shillelagh,
Yeah.
but he hands you the staff. And then he reaches and he holds his hand up, and a blue bird, drops a pendant in his hand. And the pendant is a moon, but it's created out of twigs and stone and some gem. And he takes the necklace off of himself and he binds it to the pendant and he hands it over. This is a gift from me, not from the bounty.
And before I grab it, I'm gonna reach up on one of my horns that I have. I've got just like a gold band that's on the end of one of them.
Yeah.
And I slide it off. It takes a second because it's been, as the horns grow, the tighter and harder it gets. I peel that off and I go, it's not right to take unless I give something in return.
He takes without question.
Thank you.
Welcome to the circle.
Thank you.
And as the children of the circle have learned, because there have been plenty of teenagers and children who became druids before you.
Yeah.
Either they were born into it or they've just been here longer, right? And they just found themselves in nature quicker than you did. However, they've also started learning that you love gold.
Yeah.
And they don't care.
Yeah.
So like around your feet is just little stockpiles of coin and stuff and like rings, and they're all just giving it to you because it doesn't mean anything to them, but you just get really excited. So like it's a good gift.
Yeah.
And even as a little girl comes over and she hands up, like she pulls a little bracelet off and hands it up to you and goes, "Zara's here."
Right. You don't have.
But you like it.
I love it.
You want it?
I do. But
Gift.
Okay. Can I braid your hair later as a gift back to you?
Okay.
All right. Great.
I was gonna be a horse later. Is that okay?
If you'd like me to braid your mane, that would be wonderful. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Her eyes just become the size of saucers as she just runs off squealing.
Perfect. Great.
It seems like you have an appointment tonight.
Yes.
I will. Please enjoy the bounty. Now that you're a druid, please meet me and the rest of some of our circle in my chambers later.
Yes. Thank you.
And you've been to Shill's chambers before. They're grand stoneworks, and it's basically his office. Like it's his research area.
Yeah.
It's where the library is, and it's where a lot of the studies of the moon take place. Because there's a grand reflecting pool inside the base that reflects what phase the moon is in constantly.
Sick.
That's how they study their astrology, or how they study their cycle all the time. Later on that night, as you finish braiding the hair of a small pony,
Yes.
you notice the moonlight, and it's about time. So you see some of the other druids walking their way in, and you notice that they're druids that are typically these are scouts, these are wayfinders. These are not researchers. They're not cultivators. They're not agregarians. They're not. Something's up. And your sense of war peaks a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a vibe here. As you make your way into the cave structure that is Shill's abode, or his chambers, you walk inside and there's a large stone table that's got furs on top of it and books and candles and some food across the table and a big map right in the middle, and Shill's contemplating over it as he's walking back. He's pacing. Some of his closest friends and peers are there as well, and also a druid of the stars from a different circle is here as well. So as you're all standing there, he says, "I'm glad everyone has made it. Please close the chambers." And one of his close hands walks up and moves their hand, and they meld the earth to close the cave completely. Thank you all for coming. I have news for everyone. I'm not going to embellish much. It's been alerted to me that we've been discovered. It seems like the Malkadian Kingdom has decided to make us their target. From what I've heard from our sister circle here, Circle of the Deep, and they're merfolk. They're a merfolk who's one of the stars. It seems like the Malkadians are looking to expand their territories by offering gifts to the Empire as soon as they secede. And from what it sounds like, they're culling circles as a sign of good faith and resources of the land. You know that circles typically dictate the cleanest resources we can. I need to ask something of all of you. As you know, I don't give orders, but it's my job to make sure that our circle still stands. We may move. I'm evacuating the circle as soon as I can. And we will be staying back to defend the forest. But I'm evacuating the civilians. Oh, not civilians. I'm evacuating our lesser druidic circle. And those of you who can fight and who will fight will be fighting. Our current plan of strategy is to fight them in their backwoods, closest to their farms, act like wolves attacking. We will be bears hunting in the night. We will be crows pecking out their eyes. We will be nature itself divining vengeance in hopes that they don't find our haven. According to our sister circle here, they were discovered rather easily. Then again, the Imperial Navy is quite good at what they do. Which means I'm breaking you up into squads. And then he breaks you all up into batches of 3. And he even stops with your group and goes, "Zeros, I know you've only been with us shortly, and I don't want you to think that I welcomed you to this circle with a pretense of you going to do this. That was not any part of this. You were ready. My decision to add you to this is because I believe you want to protect more than yourself. If I'm wrong in that, you're welcome to leave." Okay. And so he finishes up divvying up the squads, and he places small candles that burn different colors on where you'll all be stationed. You are to be stationed really close to the port, and you are a scout. You're a scouting squad. So even though you can't turn, tieflings blend in rather well to society. Mm-hmm. And so he even gives you your old traveling clothes, and they fix them. They patched them up. They look a little better. Yeah. And so your common clothes should blend in pretty well. Because he knows you can't yet access the moon, right? But you'll be traveling with a couple of the crows, and you guys are simply collecting information. It takes a week for you all to travel that far, and you make it to the port town of, it's right here, the port town of Averu. Averu. It's a northern port town, and it's closer to the trade lines than normal. So this would be a main trade hub of the Malkadian Kingdom. And the second you hit the gate, the crows take off and they go scouting around. But the second you hit the gate, a guard is standing there. He goes, "You got a pass?"
A pass.
Yeah, you come into the town. Do you have a reason to be here? I don't recognize you.
You recognize everyone that comes into the town. That's quite the memory you have. I'm rather impressed.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Well, yes, I usually travel hood up because of...
Oh, yeah, I noticed it was coming out of your head. It's not a headdress. Are you one of those tieflings? Are you a tiefling?
You had it right the first time. But no.
Is there a difference? Like, is there a tiefling and a tiefling? Is one blue and one's red? Because that's what Clem told me earlier at the barracks.
Right.
And I'm kind of inclined to believe him. I've only ever seen tieflings because they're like red and black. But I've heard there's blue ones. And I think those are the tieflings.
Yeah.
That's right?
I kind of like move the hair out of my face, and I do have like kind of grayer, more, the purplish blue.
Yeah, you're a tiefling then.
You're right. Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Yeah. Why are you here?
I'm just here to make sure that my services are available for when the Marcadian forces need them.
Oh, you're looking to sign up, huh? Looking to make some coin. Smart.
I may have already signed up and kind of lying
right.
low.
Well, okay.
So
look, a little birdie told me we're gonna be hunting us some druids later. Okay. It's gonna be a good time. Right. Oh, I heard if you catch one of them shapy ones, 10 gold a pelt.
Really?
Yeah.
10 gold.
A
pelt.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, go head on into port. The Portside Tavern's got your enlistment.
All right. Where are you meeting up to hunt them later?
Oh, there's a farm. There's a farm out at a little further out, a little hayfield.
Right.
Where we're hiding in the barn until late at night, because then we know that shapies come out.
Right. That's true. Well, I'd keep an ear out, because I hear that they're being wolves first. So if you hear them howl, stay tight, stay close.
That's good to know. Good to know.
Yes. Your name? Your name was?
Oh, you can call me Philip.
Philip. Wonderful.
My name's actually Phil, but I think Philip sounds fancier.
Well, how about Philip?
You tieflings are something else.
Yeah, something. All right. Well, make sure you get a nap before you go on your hunt tonight. I'm sure it's...
Oh, that's a good point.
You're going to need the energy. Yes. Right. And I just... Yeah.
Yep. You just...
walk off and leave and kind of just look up to see if any of the crows are around.
And one of them was stationed right above. There was a kind of a crossguard gate before you head into town. It's not a huge walled city, but it was at least the road stopped here at a checkpoint, right?
Close enough that they could have heard.
Yeah.
Well, okay, good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one of them takes off in one direction, the other one goes the other direction.
Sweet.
As you roll into town, you head into the tavern. You head towards the tavern side, and there is a lot of soldiers here. Mm-hmm. There are 3 battleships in the bay.
Jeez.
None of them...
This place sucks.
One of them Imperial. 2 of them Malkadian. And you can tell from the colors and the size. Skyreach Dominion battleships are gigantic. And it's not even... It's in the bay, not the port. So they've had to send dinghies and small tugs to get their people from the ship down.
Yeah.
It's almost man of war sized.
Yeah.
So it's huge.
Jeez.
Malkadian battleships fit fine. They're sloop sized to get to like small to brigantine. So they're not brigantine. Brigantine. You head into the tavern side, and there it seems like people are having a good time. Must be shore leave before the big hunt, or before the big charge, I should say. And inside the tavern, there's some Imperial forces. There's also some Malkadians, and there's some mercenaries. So like, plenty of bag, and a couple of pirates that have obviously been paid to be here. Mm-hmm. But that is a grand old time. Someone's slaying the piano. People are throwing drinks. They're chowing down the best they can. Someone stands up on a table and goes, "Tonight we hunt for the Empire," and everyone just cheers.
I am going to take... How much would it cost to buy, like, a round of some pretty strong liquor
silver
for these pups?
Yeah, silver.
Okay, I will go up to the barkeep
Yep.
and put a gold down and just say, make sure that our boys get plenty of drink for the hunt.
He slides the gold. Absolutely. That's no worries at all there. And he walks over to a keg, pulls over a line of pints, and just breaks off the spout, lining them up. And then screams out, "Hey boys, drinks on the house!"
Good. Get drunk, you freaking idiots.
And
dogs.
to your right, a man with a really high white collar, a white jacket, leans over and goes, "That was incredibly kind of you." He's an elf, but he's missing an ear. And he has white hair that it's intermingled with a black swoop and sharp golden eyes. "What are you doing so far away from home, tiefling?" And he leans over and he has a cultist pin on the inside of his lapel.
Gosh.
Even though he's in Imperial regalia.
Oh, it's Tiefling, actually.
Excuse me, sir?
You don't recognize me. you have no
The
idea
wrong
who
color.
I am.
So
Yeah.
sorry.
Actually, yeah.
Common misunderstanding.
Oh, geez. Is it of what's the cultist
Halfus.
pin? It's Halfus.
Yep.
Oh, gosh. Well, if you are wearing that pin, that means that you know exactly why I'm so far from home.
I also know how you smell.
Mm.
You smell like the blood of the other ones.
How many have you killed?
I've lost count.
Can't count that high? Is
No
that
need
the
to.
problem?
When there's such a mundane chore. Do you know how many times you've swapped a deck? How many times you've eaten bread? How many times your heart has beat? No, it's pointless.
Well, your conversation is wonderful, but unless you're going to make my insides my outsides, I think I'll be going on my way.
Go ahead and roll a deck save.
Oh gosh, Dex
As he
save.
flashes as his hand moves incredibly fast,
This guy's got me terrified.
shaking his boots.
14, hold on. 15.
Tie goes to the runner.
And boy, am I running.
His hand moves incredibly quick as cuffs sling out from his jacket, and it was jettisoning out to grab you by the wrist.
Can I Oh,
But you made the save, which means you can get your hand out of the way.
do I get to react? I don't know
Does
if
he
that's
get a
I don't
reaction?
know if that's
Want
a
to react?
smart.
What do you want to do? You
I-
can take the reaction.
If you'll allow my action to be a yeah, I'm gonna cast a spell. I'm gonna cast command at first level, use one of my 2 spell slots.
Ooh.
And the command that I will issue in Elvish, because that's where this boy's coming from, is going to be grovel. That's what I'm going to command him to do.
Okay.
Jeez.
So,
0 chill.
Gotta succeed a wisdom save, right?
that one is, yes, a wisdom save.
Well, it should
What's
be
the
a
save?
one,
Not
though.
great. I'm a little guy.
There's a little dude.
It's a 12.
Ooh. Somebody's going to the brig, baby.
I'm terrified.
You couldn't help yourself.
He came at me
He
with
started it.
cuffs.
Yeah, he started
okay.
it.
Started it. Well, that's a 7.
Oh.
Even with his +3. I rolled a 4.
Good.
Oh, wowzers.
Yeah. So
He
it
drops to the ground.
yes.
He drops to the ground and is trying to lift his head up as he can't get it off.
I spit on him and I leave.
Get that tiefling! And they're all having a good time, so they're a little slow to react.
Good. Yes.
But the Imperials and a couple of them, like the Imperials, act pretty quickly. Yeah. So you've got 3 sailors on your heels.
Oh man.
And the rest of them are trying to clamber, like, what's going on?
3 merry sailors.
Merry sailor boys.
Oh gosh. How close to the door am I, or a window? Either.
You have a window that's either directly to your right or along the bar side.
Okay.
You'd have to go over him.
Uh-huh.
Or you can head to the door, which is to your left.
To the left.
And they're both about equal distance because I see you were like in the middle of the bar.
Yeah. Oh gosh, there's 3 of them coming at me.
Yep.
Any of them blocking the door? Or not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Like there's a crowd in the way.
Okay, I'll just like, instead of trying to do some other additional action, I will dash out of there.
Okay, you'll roll an acrobatics check to weave your way through the crowd.
It is a focus on just.
Oh, come on, acrobatics.
Oh no. Okay, that was a 7, not a 1.
Okay.
So thank goodness. Acrobatics, you said?
Yeah.
8.
8.
So
okay.
Still
you make your way for the door, and you get past one, like a pirate who doesn't care.
Yeah.
You see a couple mercs like throw their head around, and the door's in reach, and you get cross-checked. A burly dwarf just shoulders down on you and drops you to the ground.
Jeez.
Sorry about it.
I will let you throw a strength save to see if he gets you prone.
Jeez.
Let's go. Let's do something about it here.
If this was real life, the dwarf would get me prone.
Man,
He throws in that tough shoulder.
it's only a 9.
Oh yeah, he got you.
I am meant to be apprehended right now. The dice will it, so
you get cross-checked, immediately dropped, and you're held there until about the minute mark breaks, and he gets up and throws his hair back, and just saunters over with the look of a predator, and it's a look you know well.
Yeah,
you have learned it, and his eyes are practically emblazed with fury. Because you humiliated him.
Yeah, I did. Well, I'll roll a new character sheet now, guys. So it was a nice.
You spat on him. That's all.
You spat on him. Come on, man.
And he pulls his rapier out and holds it up, and he looks around, and he realizes that he's wearing Imperial garb right now.
Yeah.
And he's about to murder someone who's supposed to be a part of them.
The second I see that hesitation, I cantrip message to him, and I just say, "Do it, coward."
And he throws his rapier down and stabs it like next to your face, just right past your head. And he breaks off a part of your horn.
Oh, damn you! Come on,
just chips it.
Chip.
And he leans down. He goes, I'm going to be sending you to the depths of an Imperial cage until you rot and get sent back to the hells in which you came, you piece of trash. Flips you over, cuff him and send him to the ship. Sailor, jack you up, knee in the back, and you get lugged off to one of the little tugs that they're using to get back and forth. You sit there for hours.
Did they bring my stuff at least?
But you have your stuff with you. Your stuff is with you. And they tug you back to the ship. Down into the brig you go. And you get thrown into a cell. And across from you, all you see is glowing white markings. But that's a story for the next session. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us on our first round of Session 0, which we're going to have a Session 0 Part 2 to finish up the ranks. See you in a sec.